Hey guys, it's Hayden. Just so you know my timeline on testosterone, I am now 11 months on testosterone as of yesterday. In this video, I'm not going to be talking about my changes. I'm actually saving my changes topic for my 1 year on testosterone. I just think it would make more sense and it would kind of be fun to just recap of changes a year on testosterone because I haven't been talking about it a whole lot. Stay tuned for that. So instead, in this video, I'm going to be talking about my struggle, I guess, trying to find manhood and what my place is in society as a trans man, since, well, obviously I was raised socially as a female. And a lot of trans guys have this sort of issue where you're really trying to find your place and where you kind of fit in all of these like stereotypical like gender norms and gender roles and stuff like that. I thought it would be really interesting to talk about this in a video because there's a whole lot of different levels with it, and by levels I mean like levels of privilege. So the further along in my transition, the more and more I am appearing as a cis male to other people, which I don't really like, but that's just inevitable and that's gonna happen. So I have some levels of privilege in that sense, you know, but then I lack privilege in other areas because I am not a cis male. So it's just really interesting, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time now, so I think it'd be cool to do a video on it. So I guess I made a little list, so I'm gonna just kind of read off of this and go from there. And I don't know how this video is gonna pan out, so we'll see. So bathrooms, that's the first thing I thought about. Bathrooms are so awkward for a trans guy. At least for me. Probably not all trans guys, but I hate going to the bathroom in a public restroom. Bathrooms are just really awkward because as a kid, I obviously used women's bathrooms, and you know, women's bathrooms are so much easier. You just go in, you go into a stall, you do your business, you wash your hands and you leave, and everything's fine and dandy. Whereas the men's bathroom, you're lucky if there is a stall in there, more than one actually. There's typically only one stall and like 3 urinals, and so you never really know what you're gonna walk into. And I'm not a cis guy, so I can't just go use a urinal. I mean, I do have a stand-up-to-pee device that I could use, but I'm afraid I'm gonna piss all over myself, so I never use it in public. So when I go to the bathroom, it's just in and out, and I hope and pray that there is a stall in there and it has a door on it and nobody's taking a shit in the stall. There's just a lot of awkwardness with bathrooms, and I have a lot of fear using bathrooms, and so that's been just like one of the bigger things in my transition where I'm trying to navigate because I never walked foot in a men's bathroom as a kid. It's just really weird, I guess, for me. Further in my transition, I'm hoping it will get easier just to be able to go to the bathroom, but right now I hate using public bathrooms. That's real talk. Another pretty big thing that I've been trying to navigate with my transition into manhood, it feels so weird saying manhood, or like douchey, I don't even know. Anyways, another thing that is kind of hard to navigate is the workplace. I am a grown-ass adult and I'm going through puberty, and that's fucking normal. I thought everyone had that. It's just, it's kind of awkward because I'm a manager now and I have my own employees, and half of my employees know my story and half of them don't. I find myself trying to be like stealth at work, and I'll talk about stealth in a little bit, and I don't really want to be stealth. I feel like I have to present myself professionally all the time because I'm a manager now, and that's what you're supposed to do, and I do. I am very professional at work, and I love where I work, but it's just really awkward when you get into these situations where your employees, who are all men, see you as male, and they're calling you sir and stuff like that, and then 5 minutes later you interact with someone who, I don't know how, but they don't know that I'm transitioning, and they use female pronouns, and I really don't know why this is still a thing. I mean, I have facial hair and a low voice, I have muscles, and yeah, I'm a short little guy, but I mean, come on. I am clearly a dude, but I find myself in situations like that where I try to gracefully disengage from the conversation and just tuck away in the back and hope that my employees didn't see that interaction or hear that interaction, or even new coworkers. So for guys that are watching my channel, brace yourself for that kind of stuff. It is very awkward. And even I can't joke about certain things. Like with certain people I would joke about my transition and just kind of poke fun at certain aspects of it, and but now I have to watch myself. I can't say certain things because one person will look over at me and be like, what the fuck is that dude talking about, what is he talking about, because I 100% pass to everyone there. So it's been kind of this weird navigating game, trying to figure out how to be myself, but yet not be outed by somebody who just doesn't know that I'm transitioning. It's really bizarre. And I don't care if people know that I'm trans, but at the same time, I want to be able to tell people on my own terms, and I'm not trying to hide this big part of me from my staff and my employees, but at the same time I'm trying to be professional, and there's a time and place for everything, and I want it to be on my terms when I tell them, if I choose to tell them. So yeah, work. That's been a big thing trying to navigate. So next on the list, social interactions with guys. So I am 100% seen as male by other guys, so they treat me like one of the guys, which is totally cool. But there's weird interactions that come with that. So let's say that I'm at a party or out at the bar and I'm talking to some guy, and dude starts saying some really sexist stuff. I'm not just gonna sit back and listen to him say this sexist shit. I'm gonna call him out on his shit. Not that every guy is a pig or something, I know a lot of guys that consider themselves as feminist, and that's really great. And they see that there still is a lot that needs to be done with women's rights, and honestly, it's what you do with that kind of privilege that you have that you can make a difference. And so when I hear somebody saying something really sexist, I'm gonna call them out on it. And not every guy does that, so it kind of can stand up as a flag or something. I don't know. That's the wrong term. So conversations with guys, it's just weird, and there's a lot of weird elements with it, being raised socially as a girl. There's some things that I can't relate to that a guy is telling me about, whether that's something with his body or, dude gets kicked in the nuts or something. I can't relate to that kind of stuff, I can kind of smile and nod yeah, that really hurts. But quite honestly, my silicone balls, it doesn't hurt for me at all. sorry dude. I mean, the only thing that hurts is when silicone rubs up against your leg and it pulls at your leg hairs. That's about it, which is not equivalent to getting kicked in the nuts. Situations like that I'm finding are pretty different or awkward. I mean, honestly, like it's really weird because, you know, I am male, but at the same time, I really fear men. And I don't know where that comes from. Like, I have dreams about getting abused or raped sometimes, and I have no idea where that comes from because that's never ever happened to me. So another thing, socializing with guys, there's a whole different language out there in manhood. A lot of guys say things like man, dude, or bro. It's kind of weird. I mean, I would always say, you know, dude before, because that's just, you know, that's my teenage hippie years saying dude, you know, but I never was socialized to say like, hey man, what's up? Or how you doing, man? I don't really say bro though, because I don't want to be a bro. It's just kind of weird to train your brain to think like a guy, you know, to talk like a guy, to be social as a guy when you are raised 100% female. Even the tone of my voice half the time. A lot of women, they tend to end their sentences in a question. Kind of, that's exaggerated, but you know, a lot of times that's how women talk and that's how they're socially raised. So I've been finding it kind of hard, and I've been trying to be more monotone with stuff and not like letting any bit of female of me show. And that's kind of sad because I should just be able to be myself, and you know, I am myself, but it's been like the struggle trying to figure out socially interacting with guys. I don't know, it's just weird. So I talked about being stealth a little bit, you know, at work in situations like that where I don't want to be outed, but quite honestly, I don't want to be stealth. I don't want to be stealth at all. Stealth is not for me. Clearly, because I do videos on my transition and I wear shirts like this that say this is what trans looks like. I've hidden pretty much my entire life of who I actually am as a person, so why would I want to hide who I am as a person today? No, I'm gonna embrace who I am today and be proud of who I am. So I don't want to be stealth at all. That makes it really difficult at work, where I'm trying to navigate like being myself, but at the same time being seen as 100% male to other people. And I'm realizing that I'm gonna have to come out to people pretty frequently in my life, which I don't really like coming out to people. Maybe it'll just become like second nature to me to be coming out all the time, but I never want to relive that experience of that anxiety and not being able to eat and not being able to sleep coming out to my family. Obviously it would be different coming out to somebody else, but it's kind of weird that I have to be in this continuous cycle of coming out to people if I want them to know about me. So it's all these weird things that I'm figuring out in my transition, which is pretty great and confusing and fun and awful and all of this shit. But another thing is I'm realizing I'm really feeling like disconnected from my queerness, my queer identity, you know, my trans identity, and that's something that's really evident in my life and really impactful on me, and I'm feeling so distant from it because I'm constantly trying to be seen as male. That's just a weird dynamic that I never thought that I would be encountering. And I really miss my queer community, and I miss having people to talk to that are in similar situations as me. And not that I don't have people that I can't talk to, but you know, I'm not in school anymore and I don't have the groups and organizations that I did before. So it's been kind of this weird journey, I guess. Well, that's the end of this video. So I hope it was entertaining to you. Now for my ending spiel that I always screw up every single time. Thank you so much for watching. You could subscribe to my channel if you want to. Give this video a thumbs up. You can also share the video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message, or you just want to talk. That's great too. I'm more than willing to answer any sort of question. And if you have any questions on, 1 year on testosterone, or want to hear some side of my story of 1 year on testosterone, you can definitely let me know, and I can try to include that into the next video. I know I'm not going to do another video until my 1 year mark on testosterone, which is October 28th. So expect a video then. But until then, I hope all of you have a safe and wonderful month ahead, and we'll see you then. Alright, thanks guys, bye.